Hey, this is Amberly Brooke, and you can catch my latest single, Nothing Less, available now. You're listening to On the Porch with Front Porch Music.
Quebec is a cool province.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear Montreal is like one of the coolest cities in the world.
It is a cool city.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I love Montreal.
And Quebec City's nice, and
Yeah.
like even the eastern townships, they're really cool.
Logan
Yeah.
only says this because he's bilingual, and if you're not bilingual, you can't go much further than Montreal without being lost. So
Yeah.
That is
losing your
true.
way,
I
not
mean,
being
I
able
also
to
grew up
communicate.
in Ottawa, so like our vacations were always in Quebec.
Yeah.
Winter vacations was to go skiing. Summer vacation was to go to like the little
underage drinking trips.
eastern townships. No, that was like not with the family. That was not the family trip. That was every weekend. Jenna's back.
I was about to say, what are you saying? But I was gone.
How was your time in Montreal?
My time in Montreal was fab. I love that city.
Because it was your birthday. Happy birthday.
Franks, don't tell anybody how old I am.
Already did last episode. Thanks for listening.
No way. I totally listened and missed it.
Well, we're back with another episode of On the Porch with Front Porch Music.
I'm Jenna and I'm back.
I thought you were going to say, I'm Jenna and I'm gone again. This week on the pod, we have BC artist Mitch Zorn join us.
Mitch just recently released his EP through 604, which would be his debut EP with his record label. The EP is in fact called Mitch Zorn, so if you cannot find it, I would suggest typing in Mitch Zorn. He was in SiriusXM's Top of the Country, learned he is quite the music nerd, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
We had fun talking about his time in Texas and Nashville.
Working
And
14-hour days.
gross. Oil
Yeah.
fields, like that's gritty, hard work. And
We
now,
learned how to say the name of his town, but I forget. Jenna, what was it?
I forget.
Great. Nakusp? Nope. We can't say it. Listen in. You'll see where he's from.
Make sure you check out his latest single from the record. It's called Think of Me. Make sure you check him out. If he's on tour quite a lot this summer. He'll be heading to North of Nowhere Festival along with many others. And enjoy our chat with Mitch Zorn.
Do 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 do.
Coming to us live from Calgary post-Stampede shenanigans. Welcome to the porch, Mitch Zorn. What's going
How's it
on?
going? What's up? What's up? How we doing?
I got no complaints. It's a sunny, probably really hot day out there. I'm gonna stay in the air conditioning today, but
Yeah, it is hot.
I
just
haven't even
ran
made it
in from,
outside. I don't even know what the weather looks like.
I just ran in from outside like a crazy man, and it's hot.
It's cooking. Yeah, it's been a pretty slow morning here. I'm gonna have to get out there.
to be fair, it's 11 a.m. for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, get cracking. The day is starting.
Yeah, right?
But
I know. I still feel like my body's on that BC time. It's only an hour difference.
So
but-
I
10
was gonna
o'clock.
say, come on, it's an hour.
yeah.
But to be fair, I play that card too. The second I leave
Yeah.
Eastern time, I'm like, this is
Any
too much.
excuse I can find, I'll use it.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Set the scene. What's Calgary like today? Busy, Stampede vibes.
Oh man, it's a zoo. I mean, the Stampede part of it's insanity all the time. You know, it's funny. Like I'm a musician, and a big part of my job's being in front of a crowd. But like, other than that, I really don't like being in crowds. I really
And to be
don't.
fair, you're elevated above the crowd.
Yeah, you'd rather
so
be
you're
Yeah,
on
it's
the stage,
different
thick
kind
of
of
it.
away
Yeah.
from the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But to
you're
be-
not. We call it the being with the civilians.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly. On ground level.
In Gen Pop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not it.
It's completely different when you're on the stage, I think. But
Yeah, I prefer to be backstage and then like dip out every
Yeah.
every once in a while to like where the people are,
yeah,
and then be able to be like, "Okay, I've had enough. See ya."
yeah, you won't find me in a pit. That's for sure.
No.
Oh, I'll go in the pit, but I won't go into like on the other side of the pit where like the big crowds are.
Yeah, the zoo. And did you see some of the pictures from the Stampede the other day? It's been
I haven't
insane.
actually.
Rowdy?
No.
Oh my
Rowdy?
god, like it's been wild, yeah. But it's been good.
Oh,
Did you
Jenna's
play
about
at
to sneeze.
Stampede or?
I did it was like private event for like some friends of mine kind of thing. So I played like a corporate thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in a Lamley's. I was just in the middle of a boot store with my guitar, just mic'd up. Like it was kind of
Sure.
it was super cool, but different
So,
world.
is that your first time in doing my very quick research? You have
Yeah.
definitely played 6 nights a week and got your stage legs. Is this the
Yeah,
first time you've played in the middle of a store?
yeah, for sure. It's a
Yeah?
whole different animal. People shopping around you, and
Minding their own business.
yeah, exactly. That's the
Tough crowd.
I feel like
Tough
that could go either way of like someone's like, oh, cool, look at this. Or someone's like, shut up, I'm trying to shop.
Yeah. Well, it was like a private party though, so it was like
Mm.
they kind of had the back part rented out for the attendees, and then I
Gotcha.
just kind of played for them. So it's not like I was like in the freaking Gene aisle, just like
Excuse me, do you have
singing,
size 32?
That'd be kind of
That's
sweet though.
good.
That'd be
Okay,
good
well,
TikTok.
we haven't had you on the porch too much, or on Front Porch Music too much. So why don't we start with a bit of an intro about yourself? Where are you from? I can't pronounce that name, so you're gonna have to teach us, and kind of how you got to here today.
Yeah, so I'm from a little town. I live in Kelowna, so the Okanagan. I'm sure most people
That's not the
know
name
where-
Jenna can't pronounce.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone knows where that is, but I'm from a little town east of the Okanagan in the Kootenay region of BC. It's a little town called Nakusp.
Nakusp.
Nakusp, yeah.
Okay.
There's like 1,200, 1,500 people there. Yeah, stereotypical small town. Grew up hunting, fishing, playing hockey, and I was in a band with my dad when I was like 8 or 9. So I started music real young. All my family's like my whole family, they're all singers. My grandma's a singer, and my mom's big music fan. So I kind of had a guitar from the time I was 8 or 9, and then like within that, I always say like I never really thought of it as like a profession at that point because it was just it was such a family thing. Like I didn't really even think I'd be on a stage singing, but we just did it, and then.
Did you play guitar in this family band?
Yeah. I was the rhythm guitar player at the time. I was pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. What is an 8-9-year-old playing guitar? Well, like, what kind of music are you vibing to at that age with your dad?
Oh, I don't even know. Well, yeah, like we played a lot of like old country, like Merle, Willie, Waylon, a lot of like Steve Earle, and then like even like the Canadian scene at that time, it was like the Roadhammers and bands like that. So we did it all, I think. I remember one of my first like shows, I was like 9 years old, and we were doing music in the park, and I got up there and we were doing Copperhead Road. So if you know that song, there's like the normal lyrics, and then there's like the call and answer thing at the end with Copperhead Road. So that was the only lyrics I knew. So I just did that. I was running around just singing Copperhead Road over and over and over again, shaking all the little girls' hands, and yeah, it was a dream. But
Absolute weapon at 9 years old.
that's right. Yeah, something like that.
That's funny. Okay, so and then you were saying like you
Yeah,
didn't
and then-
really see it as like a career path.
No, and then so yeah, I got into the trades and I started doing construction like in like grade 10. I was working, and then I graduated and I moved to Kelowna, and then ended up moving out to Calgary, and I just kind of started playing shows, but just for the fun of it. So I was just at that point like 17, 18 doing open mics and little rounds around Calgary, kind of nothing too fancy. And then decided, I think it was 19, I was going to move to Nashville. So I moved down to Nashville, and I lived there for 5 years and just kind of cut my teeth in Nashville, trying to learn how to write songs and play shows, and just kind of get myself immersed in the culture,
Well, I mean, totally different scene, right?
Way different. Yeah, the big leagues, as they say. I never did like the Broadway thing. Like I never played shows down there. It was more just networking and trying to make friends and get in studios, and I just love the history of it. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like just see all the old publishing houses and all the old studios. And
Did you have that wow, like your first time going down Music Row? Because
yeah,
I sure did.
yeah. My buddy, I had one friend down there, and he was a few years older than me, but he was like, yeah, I'll produce a song for you and I'll take you around, show you around. So I like flew in, and that was the first thing we did was go down to like, I can't even remember the names of the neighborhoods anymore, but there's one neighborhood where all like the publishing houses are, like all the old publishing
Yeah, in like
companies.
Midtown, basically.
Yeah, kind of midtown.
Yeah.
Well, not so much mid. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the midtown. That's like Music Row, like the
Yeah.
studios and some of the publishing houses. But there's another. I think it's Berryville, but no. Anyway, he would just kind of show me around and show me all that. Took me to like the Opry and took me to the Country Music Hall of Fame and took me down to the Bluebird and just kind of got in all the old rooms and just see the history of it all. And yeah, it was cool. But yeah, I never did really like the Broadway scene, so I was never like playing.
Well, you don't like
or,
crowds, so why
Yeah.
would you, that's like probably the last place you're headed.
Yeah, no, that place is a zoo. It's insane. Have you guys spent much time in Nashville?
Usually I go once or
been-
twice a year.
I've
Yeah.
been once, and it was last year, about this time last year.
Yeah, like yeah,
Yeah, no, love
yeah.
Nash.
It's a good spot. I think we're gonna try to go again in November. So
What was one of like the big lessons from your first time in Nashville?
everyone is really talented, and there's a million singer-songwriters that can outsing you at any given time, even on Broadway. Like, I would walk by some of those players, and it's like they're world-class musicians that just, are trying to make their way, and everybody there is. It's just a lot of fish in one pond. Like, you know what I mean?
I kind of think it gives you a reality check too of like,
Definitely.
oh, if I thought I was working hard, I got to work 10 times harder.
Or if you thought you were good, like I thought I was good, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm sick. Like I'm gonna go down there, I'm gonna get signed. Obviously, like I got it. And then you're like, oh shoot, that's not even close to the case.
Yeah.
Joe Schmo's playing for tips at the corner of whatever, and he could outsing me any day of the week. So I'm like,
Pretty humbling.
yeah, it is. But then I guess you start learning other lessons of like,
Yeah.
what it takes to make it, and perseverance, patience, and all that stuff. It takes time to build that thing.
Yeah. So when did you decide to move home then, and why?
Yeah. So I was down there 5-6 years. I was working in the oil fields. I was kind of splitting my time between Texas and Nashville at that time, and then actually my grandfather passed away, and that was kind of one of the big motivating factors. Was like I was down there from 2018 until 2017 until 2022. And, when they shut all the borders down for COVID, like I didn't get a chance to come back and visit any of my family. And I was literally down there for 4.5 years straight. And then, yeah, like, I was down there, like I said, through COVID, and you couldn't travel. So I hadn't seen my family in like 5 years. And it wasn't like a shock to me when my pops died. He'd been sick for a while, and we talked about it, and we've all said our goodbyes and stuff. But when it happened, I was just like, okay, I think it's time I just go and spend some time with my family and kind of rekindle that part of my life, and just be home. And then I never went back for whatever reason.
Yeah. How exhausting was it working in the oil fields in Texas and then going in like back and forth between there and Nash? That's
Yeah, it was really exhausting. But I had been in the oil fields for a lot of years at that point, and I just had gotten used to the shift work, and I was young, I could handle it at that point. And we were doing, it was 14, 15-hour days and 40-degree heat all day, every day. And we'd work, 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks at a time. And
I am not built for
it's
that.
a grind. It's a grind.
I am much
Yeah.
too delicate.
No, like I don't think I could do it again. I did that for a good, like I said, 10 years of my life. But
Maybe in my early 20s I could do it.
Yeah. Well, that's the only thing, right? Like that's the thing is some of those boys are like, I mean, that's what we always talked about working out there was like, I hope that none of us are here in the next 5-6 years. And then you got those old boys that like just grind it out, and like, I could never.
They're like, I said that one time.
Yeah, exactly. So I said it from the very beginning. I'm like, this is a short-term thing, and I'm getting out of here as quick as I can. That being said, like Texas is a beautiful spot, and there was a lot of amazing travel, met a lot of really good buddies, and had a lot of cool experiences, but yeah.
Was there like a cool music scene in Texas when you were there? Because like there is now.
There is, and it was like, yeah, so when I moved down there, it was like Parker McCollum and Co Wetzel, those guys were just coming up. Like they were still regional acts who were like semi big in Texas, and like you could still go see a Parker McCollum show at like, you know, somewhere in Austin with 500, 600 people, you know what I mean? And they were only really known in Texas. And then over the next couple of years after that, obviously they moved to Nashville and blew up. But yeah, I think Texas just has such a cool music scene of its own, and existing in only Texas, like it's a weird market where if you could be a Texas artist and just play Texas your whole career. You know what I mean?
Is that kind of the same with like most states, or
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I mean, I
don't
would
know either.
imagine, right? Like depending
I
on
mean,
the
like,
amount of venues.
In Canada, that's for sure the case, especially in Quebec.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like
yeah, you could just exist as like an artist in one
and be
region.
massive in Quebec too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Quebec might be a little different than like BC. I don't know if you could exist on that level in BC without being like a Canadian act.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah. But for some reason, like Quebec, I think Quebec, maybe even Ontario, you could probably be like a kind of have a cult following in one of those spots and exist your whole career like that, you know?
Definitely. There's a lot of... Have you played in Quebec?
No, I haven't. I've never even been to Quebec.
How far east have you been?
I went to Halifax like 6 months ago, and that was the first time I'd ever gone out there. Yeah, exactly. No, it's just I've been Ontario, BC, Alberta, a little bit of Saskatchewan. That's it. Yeah, when you're not like used to like the geography of places unfamiliar to you, it's like I was out in Ottawa not too long ago, and Wendy's like, "Yeah, I think we're moving to Quebec." I'm like, "You're moving all the way to Quebec?"
An hour away.
Yeah, it's 10 minutes
I
that
thought
way.
you loved Ottawa. Like, I thought you loved Ontario. And she's like, "It's like literally an hour away." I'm like, "Oh."
It's like less
That's
than
not
that.
usual though. Like think about how long it takes you to get across any province in this country.
Yeah.
That's not that mobile. That's
I have
No.
so many
reaction is
friends
normal.
that like as soon as they got married or finished school, they moved to Quebec because like the houses were cheaper.
Yeah.
It only added a 10 minutes to their commute.
Yeah.
So like
Well, that's kind of their reason.
I live in the world
is
where that makes sense, and I forget that
Yeah.
other people don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's economy, right? Like, but that's yeah. I mean, I find that in Texas too. That was like that in Texas for housing specifically. It was like Texas itself had such cheap properties and cheap housing, but like the second you got across the border into Oklahoma or like even east, it was just completely different. Or even within Texas, like the difference between West Texas and East Texas is night and day. But I guess that's everywhere.
Where are we supposed to be? West or east?
Huh? Where are we?
No, what's better? No, East or West Texas?
Definitely East Texas. East Texas, South Texas for like visiting and touring, because West Texas is just oil fields in the desert. And literally that's it.
Fair enough.
It's funny. This is
Yeah.
3 Canadians talking about Texas.
Yeah, I know.
For too
I love
long.
it. Yeah, I love it.
Well, that's interesting. I was like, I wonder what his background is. And then I was reading like oil fields, and I was like, Alberta, Texas. Oh, you realize you could have just worked in the oil fields in Alberta, and you're like, no,
Yeah.
Texas, Nashville, that's my scene. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Well, at the time, like they shut the taps off in Canada at the time with the government that we had. They weren't building much, so it was like we weren't able to, unless you find like a small crew and we're able to stay, which I had a few of those, but finding, sustainable jobs that last more than a year was hard to do at that time. So I was kind of like just making my way. Like I think during that time before I went to Texas, I did like 6 months in Fort Mac, and then I moved to Lloydminster, did 6 months in Lloyd, and then I moved to
Lloydminster,
southern Alberta.
or
Yeah.
Lloydminster, Saskatchewan.
Alberta. The Alberta side of it was our site. And then, I ended up on another job. But these jobs only last for 6 months. I'm like, okay, well, I got to keep going. So I just somehow landed in Texas.
I mean, it worked.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
You got a story to tell. And you wrote a lot of songs in text, like while you were doing this too?
Yeah, so that was kind of part of it. Like, I worked for a Canadian company was when I was down there, and they would fly. We'd do 4 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and they would fly all the boys back to Canada every days off. And I was like, okay, well, I'm trying to be a singer, like trying to do the Nashville thing. So why don't you guys just fly me to Nashville for my days off? It's cheaper for you guys. It works out for me. And then I ended up finding a roommate who was kind of in the industry and knew a bunch of songwriters and knew a bunch of people. So she would literally just like book my days off to have
Well, that's
rights. So
handy.
I'd be like, yeah, I'd do like my 4 weeks of work, and then I'd fly to Nashville, and it'd be like, okay, well, now you have rights every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with so and so and so and so and so. And they kind of just built it that way. You know, it was kind of just planned out, scheduled. It was cool.
In terms
So
of
you
the
moved-
songs that you were writing during that time, was it like, did your time on the oil fields kind of reflect in your music, or like how did
Yeah.
that kind of go together?
Yeah, I think naturally, like it did. You know, I've always been the kind of person, like I started writing by myself. I didn't start with the co-writing thing, which, as you guys know, is the big driver of songwriting in Nashville, is co-writing and 3 or 4 guys on a track. But that's not how I started doing it. So, I mean, you find that even in my first single, Home, it's all painted with red dirt and Texas and the oil fields and all that stuff. But yes, it was a little bit of that from my experience. And then, you know, some of these folks I was writing with were like, that was their job, was to get in a room and write country songs. So they had a different way of looking at lyrics and a different way of putting songs together. And I kind of just blended the two worlds, you know what I mean?
Was it hard at first though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm naturally a very good co-writer. Like, I don't know. I don't even know
Self-awareness.
why. Yeah, I don't even know why. It's just like hard for me to, like, I'm a big proponent of sitting down and making yourself write. But that being said, like, I do follow my inspiration and the sparks when it's time to write. Like, I don't plan out a write. It's not like I'm Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Like, I can't stand that shit.
I will
It's
be
just
creative
always,
on this day at this time.
yeah, like that doesn't make any sense to me. You know, like I'm just like constantly doing it. So I'm just waiting. So then, yeah, you get into this world where it's like, hey man, do you have time on this date 3 months from now to sit down for 3 hours and write a song? And I'm like,
Maybe.
I mean, I guess, like, I don't even know what, I don't know. Like, how do you answer that question? You know? But yeah, but you have to get out of your comfort zone. And I did. And it was, you know, it's cool. There's a few writers that I've really gotten really good songs with and have been able to get there with, but it's hard to just like put yourself in that place when it's time to write, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
And you know, like we all have egos and we all have like insecurities, and when you're in rooms with other songwriters, you're like, don't say anything dumb or don't. So it's hard to come up with naturally in exciting ideas, you
I
know?
think that's why people find their crew and write with them a lot, because then you can just
Yeah.
say dumb shit and not feel stupid.
Totally. I think that's a big Nashville thing is like, yeah, there's those kind of staff writers where they'll take like a lot of different people in, but I think, like you're saying, I think it exists in camps. There's like an artist, and then there's 4 or 5 writers in that camp, and they kind of do all the writing. Like Morgan Wallen's album, it's like the same 7 or 8
4
guys
dudes.
on the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just cool. I think there's those little pockets of different kinds of people and all over Nashville.
I can imagine moving home. Just thinking about like where you're drawing inspiration, like when you're down south. Coming home is also a nice and hopefully inspiring and creative place, because BC is obviously beautiful and you grew up there and you also worked the trades life there and lived a rural life. So like, how's the parallels and how's like the transition to being home and like doing the music career back home now?
Yeah, I think it was like, I think what drove my creative process for a lot of years was just novelty and like the newness of traveling and the newness of Texas and Nashville and all that stuff. But when I moved back home, I actually moved back to like my hometown. So that was you know, it had been
Which is called what again?
Nakusp. Nakusp.
Nick,
You'll figure it out. People always say the cusp or next up.
I read
one a
Nakusp
lot.
the first time and I was like, go back,
Yeah.
that's not it.
Yeah, I get that one a lot. So yeah, but yeah, to go from 10 years of traveling like a gypsy to moving back to literally the town that you spent the first 18 years of your life in was a new set of inspiration, and seeing where all my old buddies are at now. Like, they all have families and they all have kids and they're all running the businesses that their parents ran back home when we were young, so just kind of being able to draw from that was, I wrote a lot of songs when I first moved back.
Is there something about like going home and seeing everything exactly as you left it? And
Yeah.
just like the people growing up
Yeah.
and like moving into those things. Like, I'm from a smaller town too, and
Yeah.
a very small town, and just
Yeah.
going home every even 4 to 6 weeks where I'm like living in this big crazy city, and then I go home and it's like,
Yeah.
just as
Time
I left
stands
you.
still. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of comforting.
I get that
It's
though. Even like for me, like I grew up in a city, and like I get that
yeah,
going home too. It's still like
for sure.
it's
For
still
sure.
home. It's like It's like nothing's changed, but everything's changed. It's
I
great.
think when your parents and your family are settled down doing their thing, I don't think it matters where you're at, but you just have that thing when you go home that it's like it never left.
Pretty much. It's so comforting.
Yeah,
Nonetheless.
it's cool.
Okay, so I mean, I think last year was a pretty big year for you.
Yeah.
Um, let's walk through those things and like, are these things that you dreamed up as a young songwriter working in the oil fields? Like, how is this going to turn out someday? Like,
Yeah.
paint the dream and where you're at
hmm
today.
Well, I mean, the dream when I was like young and just beginning my journey down there was obviously, you want to sign a record deal and you want to play shows for thousands of people and you want to write hit songs and get number ones and plaques and all that stuff. And I don't think that stuff ever has gone away. But like, when I moved home, I was, I didn't say this before, but like part of the reason I moved home was I felt like I was spinning my wheels and like I wasn't getting where I wanted to be and I wasn't making the breakthroughs, so I was kind of like taking a step back from music altogether. And I was like, I just don't, not like, I'm always going to play and I'm always going to write, especially with my family and family reunions, it's just our thing. But I think I was like, on the professional side of it, I was like, I'm exhausted. I just need to take a step back and remember like why I do this. And then I just started playing shows for fun. And then randomly 604, one of their country director girls, was at one of my shows and was just like, hey, do you want a record deal? And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
You're like,
So
is
it's
this how
like
it works? You hand them out?
yeah,
I'll take it.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, there was a lot of talks in between, but
Yeah.
but yes, but yeah, it's a weird journey. Like, you think, I feel like I've gotten so far everything that I dreamed of getting. Obviously, I want to take it further and
Yeah.
more success to come, but like, I don't think the way it came about looks anything like I thought it would.
You know what's really funny is I have this stupid Post-it note that sits on my desk,
Yeah,
and it literally says, it might not look how you thought it would, but that doesn't mean it's not happening.
exactly.
And that is literally it.
And it is
That's
it.
so weird.
It's
Yeah.
probably good that the label came when they did come, so that you like had the moment of like, why am I doing this again? It like,
Dude.
because if it had come before, then you might have just been chasing something that you didn't actually want to
And-
chase or
yeah.
something. I don't know.
Yeah. I have this conversation a lot. Like, if I had stayed in Nashville and like, let's say I made my way and, found avenues of opportunity, like, I don't know if it would look or feel the same as it does, because I, had to re-figure out like the reason I was doing all of this, like it's not like, it's not a vanity thing, or it's not like an ego thing. I don't want to like be a star to like be a star. It's just like, I just love music so much. So I think if I hadn't moved home and realized that, then I think I would have a different outlook on it, getting it the other way.
For sure.
Yeah, that literally could have gone one of two ways. So
Yeah, and then like, maybe I would have gotten success down there, but maybe I would have,
hated your life.
hated life, like, or picked a different persona and been like, okay, well, maybe I need to be like a pop artist, and then maybe I'd start recording songs I don't really believe in, but I think they're hits, like that whole
Yeah,
thing,
to
where you
like
start
chase the stardom
doing
or
thing
whatever.
for the wrong reasons,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like in reading your bio, it talked about playing mainstream music, and that's kind of like your lane, but also there's just like backwoods vibe to it that's very subtle and
Okay.
like very like it's a nice comfy like sitting around the fire vibe still, which is
Oh,
kind of
sick.
cool.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I think that's just like naturally what I'm gonna end up being because like I have such a wide range of influence. Like I love like pop music and I love pop country music and like the Morgan Wallen type country. I love it. And but I also, you know, really subscribe to like the alt country, folkier kind of like the Cam Whitcomb, Max McNown, Sam
Yeah.
Barber
Yeah.
kind of lane of country where it's a little dirtier. Zach Bryan, obviously.
It's so weird. It's like Mumford and Sons country to me.
Yes, that's
Sick,
exactly what it
right?
is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. I
Yeah.
was saying that the other day. I was like, because I was such a massive Mumford and Sons fan. Like they were
Who
like one of my
wasn't? They're
favorite
so
bands
good.
of all time. You know,
Yep.
and I was like, when Cam came out and like when even Zach Bryan came out, I was like, this is like right in the vein of that whole Lumineers like
Yeah.
type thing. But I think that's probably where they get it from, right?
Totally.
It's
Totally.
so weird that like with especially with Mumford and Sons. I was working in country radio when I Will Wait came out, and like
Yeah.
the songs that were more on like the country alt rock side kind of things. And I remember being in rooms with like the music directors, and they're like, "Well, we obviously can't play this song." I'm like, but it's like it's coming up on the country charts, so like
Yeah.
you can play it,
Yeah.
and it
Just do it.
and it's like they're still kind of having those conversations around that type of country music, and it blows my
Definitely.
mind.
I
Yeah,
think they're always
definitely.
going to.
Yeah. I think so. I think that's the thing. There's like this like and I don't think it's like a negative thing or like a gatekeepy thing like a lot of people think. I think it's just like things like radio has been built on a certain thing and it's scary to change that up. I even think about it like when Cam Whitcomb comes on Pure Country. I'm just like you got like Riley
Yeah.
Green, Morgan Wallen, Megan Maroney, Ella Langley, and then all of a sudden I Got Options comes on. You're like, this is not even close to the same genre, but I love it.
Well, it
Yeah.
is scary for them too because like it's hard, like they're not part of the music industry in the same way that a lot of people think they are. Like they're
Yeah,
advertisers. They have to make their advertisers happy. They have to make
totally.
their audience happy. So they have to play like stuff that they know is safe, kind of for the most
Totally.
part. So
Totally.
like I get both sides of it, and it's a very strange space.
Yeah, totally. And I agree with it. Like, especially if you want to keep the tradition of like, number one songs and charts and which like hate it or love it, I love that stuff. Like that's part of the tradition of country music is like climbing the ladder and getting a number one, you know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah,
And
every Monday, Jenna and I are on the charts looking at them and saying, "Who's there this week?"
It's
yeah,
funny. Our vibe
exactly.
is more like, where
It's
does the
fun.
trending track sit? Where's the I Heart Future star? How far
Yeah.
up did the One to Watch go? And then we're like,
Yeah.
oh, top 10. Who's number one this week?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's weird. I just had to learn about all that stuff like in the last year. Like I had never
Well,
even
no
heard of
shit.
those programs prior to my first single.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, okay, well there's these programs that will just get you like a certain amount. And it's funny, like that was one part of it I didn't realize. Like you could tell based on the programs or based on what chart position you were gonna get and where it was gonna peak, and you were pretty certain it was just gonna stay there or
Yep.
move. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, what are those intangibles? Like I got all those programs for home. We got a lot of support, and it got to like 27 or 26 or something. And I'm like, what are those moving points that gets it to like top 10? Is it just like a couple stations here and there? You know what I mean? I guess you guys
Sometimes,
probably actually know that answer to that question.
sometimes. I mean, there's like a million different ways that I can get there, but
Yeah,
sometimes that's all it takes.
yeah, yeah. Are
I
you in
mean,
the radio world?
Yeah, I grew up
Okay.
in radio. I worked in country radio right out of high school. Now I'm working for stations that aren't in the country space, but
Yeah,
yeah.
sweet.
okay, so You were also part of, I'm just checking boxes here. Hi,
Yeah,
Adam
please
Gonchar,
do.
publicist. How are you?
Yeah.
You you were
He's
in
probably
top
just happy that I made it on here
with
in
no problems or questions.
well and not late. You know what I mean?
Oh, are you the late
Um,
guy?
I'm the late guy.
Come
I'm
on.
not sorry. I'm not the late guy, but I've been the late guy very
Dear
recently.
Mitch's team, he
Yeah.
was early.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
He was
Heck yeah.
here. But you were in top of the country. You were semi-finalist in
Yeah.
top of the country.
hmm
How fun!
It's so
That
cool.
experience is so cool, right?
So cool.
Tell us a little about it.
Yeah, we I mean, as you know, they do the performance video thing and in the studios. They did one in Toronto and then they have a studio in Vancouver that they pick, but we did the warehouse in Vancouver, which is Brian Adams' studio,
Good choice. Did you see
Did you meet
him?
him?
and he was there.
Sick.
It was sick.
Sick.
He wasn't like hanging out with us. I think he was
No.
doing he's got a have you guys been to the warehouse before? So he has he bought it in the 90s for like 200 grand or something. It's like super cheap. And it's just like this big kind of compound that surrounds like a courtyard area. And then there's the studios on the first two floors. And then he's got an apartment that sits on top of it. So you walk in and it's like all his like Grammys and trophies and number ones and stuff, and there's a reception area and then a live room, and then you go upstairs and it's the full studio, and then you go upstairs again, and he lives up there. So he wasn't like hanging out with us, and I didn't even know he was there at the time, but I guess he was up there doing a podcast, and we were doing the studio thing, filming, refilming, filming over again, and we were just taking a break, and I was just sitting there like messing around on my phone, and one of the videographers like looks at me, just like gives me a head nod, and I like look behind me, and Brian Adams comes walking down the stairs, and I'm just like, "Hey man, like how's it going? Thanks for having us." And like super nice guy, like but super quiet, super chill. Like he was just like, "Yeah, have at her. Like I'm glad you guys are here. So much fun. Do you write your own songs?" I'm like, "Yep." I'm like, "Thanks for Summer '69. I played that song when I was like 4. It was sick.
When I was
It was,
four.
Four.
it was sick. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was so much fun.
Thank you,
Uh,
Mr. Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to do a guitar solo on this?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's
Yeah,
really cool.
it was really cool. Yeah.
Um,
It was a cool experience. I've never like worked in the setting of like even when I was down in Nashville, we would work with like session players, but they would kind of be recording their parts individually. But this
Yeah.
was the first time we did it like full band off the floor and recorded, which was I actually ended up so I recorded a new vocal for my last single, Think of Me, but I had the master before going into that session, and I was like, we're gonna do this like for the promotion, and because we have the time to do it, maybe if we
Why
get
not?
something, yeah, if we
Yeah.
get something cool, we'll keep it. But I did 2 takes of a vocal in that studio, and it was like night and day, and I was like, okay, if we're switching it, we're keeping it. Which is funny because my process is like we kind of go line by line, so it's like, okay, well, let's nail the first 2 lines of the verse and then we'll move on. But when I was in that studio, it was like just sing 3 full takes and we'll just blend them together. And I'd never done that before, so that was a new experience. It was really cool.
Did
So
you learn
some
something about
advice
yourself
for-
in your vocal, like
Hey?
did you learn something about yourself when you're doing when you're doing your vocal takes? Like, it's an interesting way to do it, maybe.
Yeah, warming up's a big thing. Staying hydrated is a big
Yeah.
thing. It's a lot more challenging for sure to have
Sure.
to sing the whole song well,
Yeah.
instead of just like all you got to do is sing this one line and we can move on.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
cool.
It's
Well,
exercising a muscle, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like anyone who's part of this, part of the top of the country, some advice: go record in Vancouver.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That seems like those boys over there. Do you know Dan and Garrett? You guys talk to them?
Mhm.
They're just producing everybody out here. Like the West, they just took over the West. It's cool. They got me, Parker, Mark, Dane, Zach. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of a lineup.
Yeah, sweet. It's good times.
Jenna, should we go into our vibe check here?
No, we can't.
Oh.
We haven't talked about the fact that he just released his debut EP.
Oh, right. Sorry, Adam Gontar. Sorry.
I forgot about that too.
How'd you can't forget about that. It's yours.
No.
But
Yeah, we did it like I've been working on about 10 or 11 songs in the last year and a half that we've recorded, and each one of them's different. Like, I know if you've probably listened to the record, but like Home is kind of a modern country thing, and then there's like Back to You, which is like a slow, groovy, kind of almost bluesy R&B thing, and then there's Stray Bullet, which is like a rock song. So being able to, like, it's hard for me to fit into one genre because I love so much music, so it's cool to have like a project that kind of encompasses all of my influences in that way, and my songwriting influences that I love.
And it's cool
Kinda
that your
nice to
team's
have
like on board with that too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's nice to have the freedom to be able to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, Simkin, like 604 is, for whatever reason, they're basically, for me, they've been just like, just do whatever you want. If you love it, just do whatever you want. That doesn't mean we haven't had conversations about quality of music and like what works and what should be on the radio. Like, yeah, we are still thinking about it in that sense, but they are very free in like letting me have my creative process, which I love.
That's such a nice like spot to sit into when you're releasing some of your first music, and
Yeah.
like you don't want to just stick yourself somewhere and that's what you
No,
do.
because I'm still trying to figure out like who I am too, and especially musically, like it's hard to, when you don't have any music out, to like decide what you're gonna be,
Yeah.
'cause I don't think it's that easy. Like,
Mhm.
Well, just
I think you
think-
learn what you're gonna be and you figure out what you're gonna be by doing it.
Doing it. Yeah, just think like when you were in grade 1, what did you say you wanted to be when you grew up?
A mailman.
And then a mailman? That's really sweet. And then they asked you again, probably in grade 8, and you were like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Was it a mailman?
No.
Or not?
No.
And you just have to keep asking. It changes all the time.
Yeah, it does change all the time. Like, I remember when I graduated, like, I grew up a massive hip hop fan. Like, that was my thing, was like 90s rap, like Nas and the Wu-Tang Clan and Biggie and Tupac and that whole era of music I loved. And then when I graduated, I got into like the grunge scene for a while. It was like Pearl Jam was the greatest band on earth, and Nirvana and Soundgarden and all these grunge rock artists that were coming out of the Midwest at the time. And then, from my history with my family, it was like I was introduced to like the Eagles and Jackson Browne and Tom Petty and all these old school songwriters early. And then, my grandpa's side was all old country music, like Merle, Willie, Johnny Paycheck. Like, so just, I've always had that influence, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to be a country singer. And it's like, but I also want to be this and I also want to be that. But like, you got to pick something.
So now looking back on like your EP,
So what you're saying is we can expect like a hip hop vibe coming up soon?
Maybe. if I was ever to do that, it would probably be like a Mac Miller type hip hop thing, like melodic hip hop.
that makes sense.
I don't know.
Lil Zorn.
So, like looking back on your, like now you have your debut EP out, like are you proud of what you were able to put together and the things that you got to tap into and explore and the song choices, and it's all just like, love to hear that.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Like I said, for me, like the songwriting part of it's so important to me, and because that's how I started, like, was writing songs, and to be able to just share my perspective on the way I look at life and have it received by people is a really cool feeling. Where I think there'd be a disconnect if it was like, I'm a recording artist, and I'm not shit talking, it's good either way. Like, but if I'm a recording artist and writing or just recording songs that I didn't write, then your connection would be to what people think of you as an artist and as a performer. But to have my like personal brain perspectives received by people is really cool to me.
And to be fair, it's really hard to interview people who don't write songs and don't.
No doubt. Yeah, what are you
shit up
talking
that they
about?
write. Literally.
Yeah.
Okay, this has been
Tell us
dope. I
about your
think we should do
voice.
the vibe check.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I don't have Spotify pulled up. Logan?
I do.
Great.
Let's go back to the year 2018. And you released a song called Humboldt.
Oh man, deep cut.
Deep.
Deep and deep cut. So what am
Yeah.
I doing? Just telling you the story about it and telling you
Quick
how it
vibe
came
check.
to be?
What
Yeah.
inspired? Obviously,
You know-
that story sucks.
Yeah, sad story. I was gonna try to like pre-curse it, but I'm pretty sure everybody who knows this podcast lives in Canada and remembers that story, so I'll leave that out of it. But I was living in Texas and I grew up playing hockey. So I played hockey for 18 years. And when you grow up in a small town, you play with the same 14 guys for those 20 years. So it was, you grow very close bonds. And I just think I felt like when I heard that happened, I could feel what, not feel what they were feeling, but like I could put myself in their shoes and knowing what it would do to me if those were my friends and the people I grew up with. And I did travel like that. I was on buses with those boys like all the time. And I know, so I think it just kind of like, I didn't set out to write that song. I was just like, I heard about that happening. I was living in Texas actually at the time. And I was just like, this is so sad. And it affected me and I got emotional about it. And I was just like writing the best way I could explain what they might be feeling in that moment. And it kind of took off weirdly on Facebook. Facebook was still
It's 2018. Yeah, of course it was.
It blew up on Facebook, that was my first song. And so then there were a lot of conversations within the people I was working with at the time, like, okay, the song's taking off. Do we like start to build the career off this song? And that felt really gross to me. Like the idea of like promoting myself as an artist on the back of that situation just felt gross. So it was really hard to like put the song out and feel excited about sharing the song with people because I'm like, I can't promote that. Like there's no way to promote that song. So I just kind of let it be what it was and moved on from it. But yeah, it was just a really cool experience because I ended up getting like messages from some of like the family members who had ended up hearing the songs and people that wanted to talk. Like it makes me emotional right now just thinking about it. Like that music can, do that for people. So yeah, that's the vibe check on that one.
Yeah, the whole country really like came together for that.
Definitely. Super sad.
I don't really know how to transition out of there, but here we are. Let's talk about your song, Any Old Bar from 2020.
Yeah, that one wasn't like one of my first diving into co-writing. Like that was a Nashville song I wrote with a couple of good buddies of mine, and that was a weird one because like it was a weird thing to be okay with not being emotionally invested in a song but still loving a song enough to finish it, record it, and put it out. And that was the first time I'd ever experienced that, where it was like, I come from a place where usually the songs I put out mean a lot to me. You know what I mean? And it's a story that's being told that's real. But that one, it was like my first shot at just like, well, it doesn't have to be your life story. Just write a song. So, yeah. A cool perspective shift.
Yeah.
Jenna, do you have any here, or do you want me to keep going?
Go ahead, keep going. You're rocking it.
Thanks. How about Home? We touched on it a bit earlier.
Yeah, Home was a co-write with a girl who she had some Chris Young cuts. She was doing really well down south, and we just kind of got paired together and had no ideas. And she was just like asking me about myself and like, what's your story? And I told her about Texas and Nashville and the struggles of like living on the road and not getting to see your family and all that stuff that comes with that. And she was like, well, let's just write that song. And we wrote that whole song in like 25 minutes. It just
that's how it happens
poured
sometimes.
out.
That's how I think like a really great song often comes out that quick.
I think that's what I've realized, after writing 1,000 songs that it's almost always the case. The fastest songs that are written are the ones that are the best.
Like you might go back and tweak a few things here and there.
Of course. Yeah. But you just find, a stride and you have to let it go.
One song that I really love off your EP is 10 Days in July. What about that one?
Hell yeah. That was a song I didn't really anticipate, or I was afraid that people weren't going to like it or receive it, because it's not like, and this, I'm going to go down a tangent of like songwriting and like the formulas of Nashville or whatever, and it didn't really match with like, I think what creates motion in a verse moving into a chorus is like a shift in rhythm or a shift in lengths of notes, where that song was a lot of rhythm all the way through, where it was like na, 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 and then it just kept doing that kind of thing throughout the chorus. So I didn't know how that song was going to be received, but I've always just really loved it myself, and like it draws into like the hip hop things that I love, where it's like rhythm and beats, and carrying a groove throughout a piece of music. So I'm really always really happy when people tell me they like that one.
Yeah, I like that song a lot. Let's go to one of your, I think it's your most recent single, Think of Me.
Yeah, that one was, I was trying to start to write more like tempo, because I tend to write a lot of ballads and slow songs. So I was like in a point where I was like, I'm forcing myself to write like faster songs. And that one I don't really have a personal connection to it, but I've always loved the idea of like as shitty as it sounds, like the shitty idea of like, if you're going to leave me, that's okay, but I hope it's like a really hard thing for you to do, and I hope it's a pain in the ass for you to get out of town, you know what I mean? And I've always just, for whatever reason, I've always wanted to write that idea, so I was able to execute that. Somehow. That's a pretty screwed up thing to say, I know, but
I kind of like it.
I think everybody has their song that's literally that, though, like, especially because like you're gonna hear this on the radio and you're gonna think of me.
Totally, exactly. People eat that shit up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. This has been kind of fun. You're very much a music nerd, which is super fun. When you start getting see, if we do the Q&A, we don't get into that stuff, and it's like, this is fun.
I love it.
So if you're not a music nerd and you're listening to this, this is a tough one for you. That's too bad for you, but nonetheless, we had a good time. Okay, what do you got going on this summer? You're playing a couple of festivals. I think you're playing North of Nowhere in Lindsay, right?
Couple
what
weeks.
Else you got? Yep.
And then I've got, like, we're stacked. We have pretty much every weekend and during the week until the end of November, but there's a couple tours that haven't been announced yet, so I can't really talk about them. But what I can say is I'm on the road for like 3 months straight.
Congrats.
For the next like 3 months. Yeah. I'm working
Maybe you'll
on
make it to Quebec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we might. We'll see. I'll
There
send
you
you
go.
guys a message. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Work on your français.
For sure.
Okay, Mitch, this has been so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to another episode of On the Porch with Front Porch Music. We're so lucky to be able to chat with artists and make episodes like this one. If you like the podcast, remember to rate and review us, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. It's the easiest way to support the show. Remember to check out frontporchmusic.ca to keep up with new music releases, exclusive artist interviews, and more. We'll catch you again on The Porch in a couple of weeks. On The Porch is hosted by Logan Miller and Jenna Weiser, and produced and edited by Jason Saunders. That's me. Our theme song was written, produced, and performed by Owen Riglin.